We'll call the meeting to order. Ready?
1 second, I'm just doing the streaming part here. Uh-oh. Oh, been closed. Let's try it again.
Say the word.
Yep.
Call the meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It looks like again that our council clerk isn't here tonight. So just for the record, for the recording, I'm stating, I think all commissioners are present except for Commissioner Shalene Pender, right? Everybody else is accounted for.
Yeah, and I guess before you speak, if you just say your name, so. Yeah.
Right, and then Elizabeth is still going to do the minutes. She's gonna do it from the recording of this meeting, so it'll make it easier to see.
Public participation. Anything from either of our liaisons?
Council wants to have one meeting.
To name the information and referral center next door to us, this room.
And that's not great. So I think that's the one thing. Yeah.
Do you have another meeting before the election? Do you have more meetings? Yeah,
I think we'll be.
three.
All right, do a big more meeting. Yes, yeah. We're more confident.
Approval of the meeting minutes. Did everyone get their copies?
These would be from the meeting back in June.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second it.
How about make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Kathy, I'll second. All in favor? Aye. That.
So we'll discuss the whole nutrition item, later on the agenda when we get to it. So for everything else, we had a very, very busy summer. We were at capacity many days. Most of our programs were full. We did a lot of fun things, including we had our pool party at Mill Pond Park, which I was a little concerned because it was kind of a cloudy day, but we had like more than 30 people attend to do a little water aerobics and have some snacks and listen to some good music and swim, of course. We had an invitation to mindfulness on August 7th. We had some chair yoga demos throughout the month that we're going to be implementing coming up. We have our typical variety of arts and craft classes, including a paint and sip class, our card classes, diamond painting, which is very relaxing if you've never tried it. We had collaborative coloring, which is with the Chrysalis Center, and they provide supportive services to adults, adults who have various needs. We had a chef demo come in. We had multiple instructional or informational programs about, all sorts of things. Now I forget what it all was because there was a lot about Cedar Hill Cemetery in Newington, about meditation, about insurance, about falls, all of our typical topics we discussed. We participated in the Act of Kindness Day, in the memory of Reagan Martins, the young girl who passed away last year. And we had a display up at the time, at the center, and folks did acts of kindness throughout the week and weekend. Gosh, we did a lot. We had a class on how to manage pain without drugs or medication for those who are able to do so. We had our quarterly AARP drivers course, which always fills up and is very popular. We also had ADA paratransit passes available for free of charge. That was paid for by ARPA funding. So those are the accessible buses that are like our dial-a-ride buses, but they're run by the state and they go all over the state. And of course, there's a cost to do that. So for folks who qualify for ADA paratransit, we were able to give them 10 free rides. Yeah, and we had the mayor visited most of our normal, our normal programs the whole summer. Like I said, it was a busy summer, hectic summer. The place was packed and we all had a good time. We have now done 3 primetime Monday evening programs, 2 of which were like entertainment programs, entertainers. And then last month, Barbara did a mindfulness and meditation. They've all been very well attended, more so than I thought. We've had an average of 40 people at these evening time programs. So moving forward, and then in September, I don't know what is the date I'm doing. I should know the date. September 21st, I believe, but I'll double check. The next one is going to be the next Monday night program is going to be an 80s trivia contest, which it ties in with our 40th anniversary because we opened in 1985. So we're doing throwback trivia that night. We're also doing one during the day, but it's the same contest. So don't come to both because then you'll win at night because you'll know all the answers. Yeah. So during the day, we'll offer coffee and donuts. And for the evening one, we'll have appetizers. So that'll be coming up soon. So our plans for our Monday night programs, they've been well attended. They've been well received. People seem to like them. We plan to continue them, obviously. Part of a member survey that we just finished that we're putting the results together, asked people if they want to continue with evening programs over the winter, considering it gets dark so early. And the majority of people said yes. They might prefer like a 4:30, 5 o'clock program over like a 6 or 6:30 program, but we are going to kind of work with that and see how it goes, once it starts to get dark early. So we might make some adjustments to our offerings and our time. But what we'd like to do once we kind of get the winter hours figured out is we're going to start expanding with our zero budget, expanding our programs that we have at night. So there'll be one special program and it might be entertainment. It could be something fun. It could be something informational, insurance, finance, whatever. But then we would actually have, while we're doing that special program on that night, we'd have the center itself open for a set number of hours. So you can come in and play pool or do a puzzle or use the gym, that type of thing. So it'll be, rather than just there being one offering, we just be normal stuff. Be open, right. So that's what we're going to move into once we're comfortable with what our participation will be like over the winter. We know that we're pretty, so far so good on the summer stuff. So that will be coming up.
So is the center open now, like for the ones that you've done, or since this has been a new thing?
We've only offered, it'll either be Barbara or I there at night. We've been switching off on them. So we're the sole staff member here. So we're usually running the program. We have a couple of other staff members who said they'd be happy to work an occasional evening. We're lucky to have very flexible staff here. So if that's the case, then we could provide coverage for just having the center open. Even if like our secretary Charlene has no problem working an occasional evening, she could, take appointments and do things, in the evening for people that might still be at work and can't necessarily do things during the day. George is always here when we're open at night for like Parks and Rec programs and, different groups that use the building. But I would like one of our staff, George shouldn't have to supervise our day-to-day operations. He's here as a building setup person. So that's what we're working on the logistics of right now. Tomorrow, our fiscal year, finance closes our fiscal year. It ended on June 30th, but they do all their work and then they close and report out. So I only have limited numbers to give you today. And once we get the reports from finance, I'll give you everything via email. We can talk about it the next meeting. But so what I have today, the interest earned through June 30th, which is the most recent date that we have. July 31st is $1,856 of earned interest. We have from July 1st through August 31st, we have received approximately $1,700 in lunch donations or nutrition donations. $12,800 in membership renewal donations, but we're still in the thick of the membership renewal process, so that will increase. We've received $5,624 additional dollars in donations that were directed to nutrition. So we've received a total of over $18,000 in renewal donations, but some of them were directed specifically to nutrition. And then Karen Halpert, our employee who passed away, we've received exactly $1,000 of donations in her memory. So in total, we've received about $21,183 in donations since July 1st. And again, I will have more detailed reports for you once they're available for finance.
Jane.
Yep.
Should we put any more money into the stiff account since it seems to be working so well? And
I'd like to analyze what our accounts look like at the end with the reports at the end of the fiscal year to see how much we have in our donations and everything else. And if so, I think it'd be probably a good idea to have the commission vote to add some more money to the stiff accounts. Particularly with the nutrition, because I want to make sure we have plenty of cash on hand for that.
but you said we could get to it.
Right,
easily.
right, but I don't, there's still
$1,800 could get us what, another half a month?
about a week.
Oh, a week?
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
better than nothing, right? Okay.
It's-
Not even a week.
still a week.
Right. I agree. I do think we should move more money over. I would feel much more comfortable seeing the year-end reports from finance before we recommend it for you guys to vote. So I'll do that via email as well, so you can see the numbers ahead of time when they're available, and then you could be ready to vote at the next, if you want to discuss it and vote at the next meeting, that'd be fine. We received some in-kind grant donation from the Greater Hartford Foundation of the 2 recumbent exercise machines that will go over there. But they're actually going to come over here. This will be one of our last meetings in this particular room because this will become our new exercise room as soon as the flooring that we have in order comes in. The facilities department very graciously paid for the flooring out of their CIP budget, so we wouldn't have to. I don't know, it might have been out of their operating, but it was not cheap. But they had some money put aside from another project and they were able to do that. Hi, Shalene. So as soon as that flooring is on order, it should come in at some point this month, and then we'll go ahead and make that switch. We are TBD what we're going to do with the room across the hall. Right now, my plan is probably to make it into a volunteer workspace / conference space, smaller than this, and we'll see how it fits with our needs. We also received, I'll talk about that afterwards. I applied for a small $500 grant for the garden through Connecticut Horticulture Foundation. We'll see if we get that. Councilor Nagel and Siniakos mentioned the naming request to name the INR, the Information Referral Center, after Karen Halpert. And they referred that to the committee. I believe that the subcommittee might be on a pause right now while they review the rules. That's just what I heard. I wasn't able to attend that meeting, but if that's the case, that's fine. We will wait patiently for the word from them. We are, Karen was here for so long and she was such an important part of our family, so to speak, that, several of us became close with her family, her husband and their adult children. So we have been kind of reaching out and supporting the family. And we're going to do a little cake ceremony thing soon. And then when the naming comes through, we'll do a bigger thing. Back on July 18th, my husband and myself and a couple of senior center volunteers worked at the craft beer tent at the Extravaganza, where they volunteered to pour the craft beers. That was like the tasting where you buy the wristband, and that was a lot of fun. We talked to a ton of people. It was a great time. So that was kind of something fun and different for the volunteers to do. Your chairperson, Karen, nominated us through the Connecticut Age Well Collaborative to be recognized as part of the Age Well Tour. And what that is it recognizes that the senior center is, so I wrote it down here. It recognizes that the senior center we're committed to fostering an inclusive culture and community for people to thrive in the center. The Age Well Collaborative is part of the Connecticut Live Well Collective that focuses on aging. About 2 years ago, I was actually on the steering committee that created the collaborative. So it's nice to see them out doing things and recognizing senior centers. So I will read to you what Karen wrote. The Newington Senior Disabled Center. So we're going to get recognition and plaques, and we'll post all the info. And we'll do some things related to that, but it says the Senior Disabled Center was established in 1985 for all persons age 55 and older and adults with all types of disabilities. They're recognized for their expertise in aging, innovative programs, professional services, and a welcoming environment. They were the first center in Connecticut to achieve a national accreditation with the National Council on Aging. There's no general membership fee, only a yearly membership fee for the fitness center. Their mission is to improve the well-being of older adults and adults with disabilities in the town of Newington by focusing on the physical, social, emotional, financial, spiritual, purpose, emotional, and intellectual needs of all members. Guided by national trends and best practices, scientific evidence, and our members' interests, they offer a state-of-the-art fitness room, exercise classes, a health and wellness clinic, workshops, screenings, and lectures, art classes and clubs, trips and travel, social and recreational activities. They also have many volunteer opportunities, a giving garden where all the fresh vegetables and flowers are donated to the town food bank, dial-a-ride, a medical loan closet, and information and referral center, fall prevention, evidence-based programs, and a senior cafe. So that's very nice. Thank you very much, Karen, for nominating us, and we're pleased to have actually received the honor. So that's great. And that is it for my first report.
Old business, budget update. Yeah, you already.
Yeah,
That's
but next month we'll get the budget memo from the town manager. So we start the budget process for 2026 in like less than a month.
nutrition program.
Okay, so I'll start with the good news. And you received this via email too. CRT did find some funding to cover the Meals on Wheels dinner meals that we have been funding since whenever last November. They received funding through the North Central Area Agency on Aging. It was from about August 11th, and it'll probably end around September 30th when they run out again. But that does save us, just in Meals on Wheels, about $8,000 to $10,000, depending on usage. So that's good because we'll take everything we can. The Greater Hartford Foundation for Giving also gave us a $10,000 grant for nutrition, in addition to the recumbent exercise machines. So that can be used for Meals on Wheels or the congregate lunch, and that'll give us about another 5 weeks of pushing out that goalpost of how much money we have for that. So the other thing that we're waiting on is the CRT annual budget. Their fiscal year runs from October 1st through September 30th. So there's no news yet, and we're like 3 weeks away, or whatever. So we're hoping for good news, but we are planning that it's going to be the same or get worse. I will keep you posted as soon as we hear anything. So we know that, we keep getting these nice, generous things happening for us, and it keeps pushing that goalpost out farther and farther for how long we could fund this program. But I believe, Kathy mentioned at the last meeting, at some point, the well's going to run dry. Like, people aren't going to be so generous anymore. They're going to get sick of hearing about us. And so it's always been on the forefront of our minds to hope for the best and plan for the worst. So right now, I'm in the process of analyzing the numbers from the past few months about the number of meals we served in congregate and home delivered, our donations, which of course we have records of, our average cost to see if that's changed at all since I last analyzed it, and then some info from finance that I'm waiting for when they close their fiscal year. So I could definitely, I'll redo the analysis that I did back in the spring and see where exactly we stand. So I'll come back to you with that information. I'll email it to you and we could discuss it at the next meeting. So recognizing that we're fortunate to have what we have, but it's not going to last forever. What we're really leaning towards right now is to, of course, continue to fundraise, right? Continue to apply for grants and to seek a permanent sponsorship, either for the Meals on Wheels, the home, the in-person, or both. But to save costs and stretch the money that we have, our plan right now is coming along for congregate only, because we don't have options for Meals on Wheels, would to be go 2 days a week for in-house prep of things that we can prep with our food license. So we cannot cook meat from raw. Okay, but we can do hot dogs, we can do salads, we can do soups, we can do things that you might want to have for lunch that are, healthy and balanced, but, easy to prepare. We would continue 2 days from CRT provided meals. And I will mention that we only received 78 CRT meals per week over those 2 days. And our numbers have been higher than that, trending higher than that in the past probably 2 or 3 months. When our summer numbers actually usually tend to trend down, they're going up. So that's going to be another part of my analysis. We have to pay for any meals up and above the 78 they provide per week. And then 1 day a week we'd order out. That'd be like our takeout day, like we do now, for most days. Our prepared and ordered out lunches, we would schedule on a rotating basis so that we would provide variety, but keep it simple to plan. So like we know that like the second Tuesday of every month would be the turkey grinder day, but we'll make sure that we have enough variety that people don't get bored. For the in-house meals, we will need a few things. We'll need materials like storage pans, a dishwasher would be awesome. Storage, some more utensils. We aren't going to be cooking anything per se, except for maybe, like I said, heating soup, things like that. We may or may not need volunteers, depending on the workload of our current volunteers and what they'd like to do in terms of food prep. We have their hands are full serving right now, so it may be necessary to bring in more people to help prepare these meals. And then, of course, the corresponding training on food safety. These are not things, again, that you need to be a chef to prepare. They're simple meals. Some of the things you kind of do now, like we order salad ingredients from Sam's Club and we put together chicken Caesar salads. So rather than ordering the salads from Sam's Club, we just get the ingredients, and do it ourselves. That's an example, but there'd be more things than that. No, there has not been for many years, and we can't do one without, they're expensive. Without doing some work to the plumbing. It's out of date. So the timing on when we go to this will depend heavily on whether or not we receive the $10,000 grant that I just applied for that will specifically cover the dishwasher and related work, as well as some of these smaller items that we'll need, the pans, the trays, the stuff. So if we receive that funding, which we should know shortly, then we will begin sooner. If not, then we'll continue to seek funding to do that. We estimate that we're going to need about $10,000 to $12,000 to get that off the ground. But then that's like a one-time expense. A one-time expense, right? And we would do things like order reusable plastic plates that I could throw in the dishwasher. That we're not going to be spending money on plastic styrofoam, plates anymore, that type of thing. So we're be assured, we're doing work behind the scenes on this. We need to do it if we're going to have this work, because it could easily descend into chaos, right? We need to be structured, methodical, and organized in how we do it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm waiting to hear on the funding, but then I'm actually creating a very specific detailed plan on how we're going to afford this and how we're going to execute it.
So when you applied for the grant, was that how it was written up? That we wanted to do our own?
Yes. So this particular grant cannot be used for food itself. It can't be physically used to buy food, but it can be used for things like setting up an industrial kitchen to prepare food. So when I saw that grant opportunity, I was like, this could be a way to kickstart what we want to do anyway, and we'll see if we get it. We also have another grant application that we've been working on forever, that will go out next month. They don't start accepting applications until next month. That one could be for food or equipment, and it will be a $15,000 application.
Thanks.
Yep, I'm done.
Couple
Question
things.
too, when he's done.
Okay,
We-
Ed's going. And then
We need to be obviously very conservative of what we spend.
Mhm.
And it's great that we would get some equipment for the kitchen, especially warming things, because right now we have nothing to warm. now.
Right.
But I mentioned to Barbara, I had a conversation with her about Restaurant Depot and stuff to get supplies.
Yeah.
I understand it's I don't know if Jamie talked to, not Jamie, Josie talked to you about
Mhm.
that. I'm willing to go to Hartford even to go shopping.
Yep.
Because I think that if we get more supplies here, the prices are gonna go up and up. We have more things in-house. But I understand we have an issue with storage to put these things.
Right. We don't have a ton of storage, but that's fixable. Yeah, I would appreciate that. That would be part of our written plan, once we know when we have the funding to kick this off the ground. We would work that. We did have a Restaurant Depot account at one point just for the coffee shop, and we didn't find it useful because it was too small to see the bulk savings. But certainly anything that we do, anything that we would do, we would price every single thing out. We'd price the teaspoons out. We'd make sure that we're spending our money as wisely as possible. Yep. Yeah. So that in my very old previous life, I was a restaurant person, and operations manager. And then at least those type of places for high volume, you're serving 300 or 400 people a day. It's entirely possible we could find economies there that we can use, and we'll definitely look into it. So I appreciate your offer.
And then as far as we need to be careful about waste,
Mhm.
what's happening now, I see this every day.
Mhm.
We have people that sign up that don't show.
Yep.
And nothing's been addressed to that.
Well, they have just behind the scenes, we're not announcing it publicly that people aren't showing up, but we're speaking to them to make sure they're okay.
But people need to understand, like, some people sign up for a meal, and like, they sign up without even know what the meal is, and the meal arrives, they don't want it.
Right.
And that's waste. So I think that publicly, we don't want to set an alarm, but we need people to understand that we're under hard times right now. So we want to welcome people to come here. And this is a nutrition program, so people really need it. But don't just sign up to sign up. Look at the menu. Don't just, a wasted meal. Or also, you might sign up and you don't want the meal, and meanwhile you can't come because it's sold out, because we got sold out days. So we need to kind of send the message that we're trying to be conservative, we're really struggling.
Yeah.
Then it's difficult to get it. The other thing too is, I talked to Barbara about this, and the CRT meals, we cannot change the prices set at $3.
Correct.
But, as you know, like Rocky Hill and the other towns don't, for the normal ones that are not CRT meals, I suggest that we possibly increase the amount.
That was part of our last survey. We had extremely mixed results on whether or not people are willing to pay more than $3. I understand $3 is a bargain, and it's also, it's optional, it's a voluntary donation. I understand that. But what we're afraid of happening with a lot of people saying, no, I can't afford more than $3, is even though it's an optional donation, people will feel ashamed and they won't show up. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to include people. We could certainly revisit that once we know what our budget will be moving forward for this program. But right now I'm inclined to keep it at $3 because it seems like it's what the majority of people are comfortable with. And I don't want anybody to hang their head in shame and not come in, even though nobody knows who's donating and who's not. We see that happening with other things like energy assistance and other programs, that there's a lot of perceived shame. Of course, there's absolutely no shame in having a tight budget, but we don't want anybody to feel like they aren't welcome here because they can't afford to pay like $5 or $6 for the meal. That's my opinion. It's ultimately up to this commission, but I think I would prefer to kind of keep that status quo. It's a minor part of our funding anyway, so it's not going to make a huge difference.
A lot of
Mhm.
people like this. And they didn't pay for Social Security, they didn't claim their tips or anything, so they get that minimum wage, and they can't, I don't know how to make it.
Mhm.
But even food stamps.
Right. It's the same reason why our bus passes are $8.40, and they've been $8.40 for 26 years. It's just hard to, it defrays the cost. It defrays the cost a little, gives people some accountability for actually, being part of the program, but it's not covering our costs.
Question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Lily, go ahead,
My
Lily.
apologies.
Okay, so I know, because the CRT meals I know are for the senior community only, but have we thought about either advertising or opening up the ones that we do in-home / get from restaurants to the disabled members of our community? And if so, you could perhaps even offer them at the higher price of the $5 or $6 or things like that to offset some of that. Because I would go, and I would pay up to $10. $10 for a meal is cheap anywhere you want to go. So, I just wanted to throw that out there for the other days that we aren't limited to only the CRT, whereas the ones, if we're going to cook or order in.
Right. So to explain what Lillian said, the CRT meals are part of the federal nutrition program. You have to be ages 60 and up, or a spouse of somebody age 60 up, to participate. So a younger adult who may be a member of our program or center can't necessarily participate in the CRT meals. We can certainly open up, because if we're paying for it, we do what we want, right? We can open up those meals for the non-CRT days to any members or anybody in the community who wishes to participate. If you are over the age of 55 or you're a disabled adult, we can do that. We can look into that. I would again be leery of charging two different price points, because it's kind of, I don't know how we would determine, like, well, you're under 50, but you're disabled, so we're charging you $10. Probably, I'm not sure how we would accomplish that fairly, but we can state to everybody and emphasize that it's a voluntary donation. So if you want to throw $10 in the box instead of $3, feel free. We'll take it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but at least, also opening up the audience of people that are willing to donate some more as well, because
Sure.
especially if they're younger, disabled, they might also have some more means, or might be working a job more than a senior might, or things like that. So it might inadvertently increase our donation
Sure.
amount.
Sure.
When you base it on income, like, maybe somebody gets 700 each and everything's a month, and some people get 3,000.
We could recommend, we'd have to vet everybody's income to do that, and I don't know if people are gonna tell us that info. But again, we can emphasize, like, if you can afford more, it would help us out so much. Like, if you gave $6 instead of 3, that gives us another meal to cover somebody else who can't afford it, you know? But we'll keep it at 3 officially.
But that-
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a great announcement to
Yeah.
make, especially every Thursday. To the public, you give more, because people just. Every day they just keep on doing the same thing.
Okay, good. That's all I have for nutrition.
I just wanted to say, I taught an exercise class at Plainville at the senior center. And they have an actual restaurant there.
Yes.
And I was wondering maybe if you could touch base with them and see how it
They
goes.
they do things in-house or they use a restaurant?
No, they have their own restaurant. They actually have a license to cook.
That would be a great
But-
long-term option, absolutely, but obviously a much more expensive
But-
option we have now.
No,
Yeah.
but where they buy their stuff and
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
all that, it might
Yep.
be a phone call.
I would love to have a full kitchen set up eventually. I think that's a great idea, but
Yeah.
yes, we could definitely use them as a resource. Thank you.
Is, another question regarding that, is Plainville the closest one with a full kitchen? Like, is there a full kitchen licensed senior center that we could pair up with and like they cook 2 sets of meals and we pay?
I'm not aware of any. I can look. I know Colchester has one and like East Lyme. Neither of those are particularly close to us, but it wouldn't hurt to look around.
Because Plainville isn't that far. You have 15,
Mhm.
20 minutes depending on where the center is. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to throw that out there as an economical idea as well then.
Yeah. They also serve, I think, maybe 10 to 15 people a day, so it's smaller
Mhm.
than we are. But yeah, every one of these ideas is great and something to look into for sure.
As far as, I know we can't cook here, but have we looked into what it would entail for us to be allowed to cook? And to turn the oven on?
So it would be much more in the oven. We'd have to get the dishwasher. We'd have to have some other like specific equipment on hand. Everybody would have to be trained as if you were a restaurant manager. And the Serve Safe is about an 8-week program. And it costs about several $100s per person. And we'd have to get our food license changed and increased. So yeah, I've definitely looked into it and I would like to do it eventually. But for the short term, while we're in such flux, I think that, that what we have now is going to work best.
It's also because this is here, like, as far as like the CERT, like, if there's a shelter needed, I understand this is one of the locations.
Correct.
And we don't have anything, like, if we had to warm up food, can't do that for them.
We have warming tables and microwaves. That's what we need.
But-
Yeah. I know, I agree. We have that beautiful oven and stove in the kitchen. In order to be able to utilize it, we would have to upgrade our food license. We can look into it. But again, I'm thinking right now, I'm honestly thinking survival. Once we get survival, then we'll become our own food service.
The other thing is, I think that if we're trying to solve this problem and the public knows it, I think they would help support us in purchasing what we need. to
Possible,
be
sure.
able- So that might be maybe another fundraiser.
Yeah, absolutely.
T-shirts, this is our 40th year anniversary. If you had T-shirts and so.
That's a good idea.
Maybe even at Waterfall Festival, that's some T-shirts for that, or just some for the office. And that makes me, some.
Yeah, these are all great ideas and we'll look into every single one of them.
Jane, Kathy Sobieski. Has there been, because I know, like you said, people pay $3, towards their lunch for the congregate lunch. It used to be, if I'm not mistaken, that money that you used to have to send back to CRT.
Correct.
Which then they're getting that money for the 2 days that they're
Yep.
providing lunch. Is there enough money coming in on the days that you're getting sponsors for lunch or,
Yep.
I mean, Tuesday I was here and it was Subway.
Mhm.
So have you noticed a difference in what you're getting in?
It's about the same each day. Same proportion to the number of people we have there per day.
Okay, so. as
So it's
far
like-
as depending on whether it was CRT.
Right, there people aren't more or less generous. Yeah.
Because there's a lot more people on the days CRT is not providing lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, people, you're gonna come and you're gonna get something from Stu's or Steve's Place or Subway or, you know, Rockin' Chicken or whatever. And people see that and
Yep.
it's a lot, I think probably a lot better food
Mhm.
than what CRT offers,
Yep.
you know. You know, in some ways, and I know you don't want to go up on the price and I get it, but again, I really think that that's something that is gonna have to be in the future because it's just not, I mean, nothing, you can't even get a burger for $3 or whatever.
Understood, understood. So I definitely think there's probably some people there that know they're just getting a cheap meal and they could afford to go directly to Subway or Rockin' Chicken and get lunch, but they know it's cheaper here.
Right.
No doubt in my mind. But there are a lot of people that truly do have that budget and it would, you know, be an issue. They wouldn't be able to afford to go directly to Subway or Rockin' Chicken. Again, I need to do some analysis. I need some numbers, you know, to do so. And, you know, we can always revisit it at any time and see, you know, maybe you're right. Maybe we do need to up it a bit or two, but just based on feedback we have, I think, you know, we're going to work with what we have for now, but there, you're right. There may be a point where we charge more and that's just going to be how we, you know, survive. So.
Money
wait.
costs. Like,
Mhm.
It's our expenses.
When you asked the survey question, did you say what the new price would be, or it wasn't just sort of?
It was like, would you be willing to pay 4, 5, 6, whatever, you know, or I think it might have been ranges,
Yeah.
like 4 to 5, 6 to 7, whatever.
Okay.
What about it sort of the tickets for the meal? And then the ones that can afford it, you already know who those people are.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they give them a food.
These are all, yep. These are all options.
Anything else? No? I'm sorry, I was like.
Security
Okay,
system?
very quickly.
Are you done? With
Oh, yeah, I'm done with
nutrition?
nutrition. Oh, yeah. Security system, the workers have been here for the past week wiring the cameras, the camera system, the security camera system, will be in the indoors, in our hallways, in our main area, the public counter of the main office, and then out in the parking lot. So those are being wired while the cameras and the components are being on order. And then, we also have some doors like the private offices, and some of the rooms will have key fob locks similar to what they have at town hall, for some increased security there. And we're able to kind of lock things down if there's ever an issue, and have a little bit more security there. We don't plan on locking rooms. Everything is open right now, you know, to the public, except for maybe if one of us is in a meeting or something confidential. But this will provide additional security in the, you know, unfortunate event of an emergency or something like that.
Oh, and as far as like, where's the cameras gonna be monitored? Is it by PD or?
We will have options that they're not going to be monitored live. They're not going to be somebody like looking at the screen 24/7, but the recordings will be available to us in the office. Yes.
For how long?
Oh, I don't know. I have to find out.
Any other question? Door counter.
That's on there. There's no updates. Right now, I'm so excited about getting security cameras. I'll get back to door counters later.
Door counters have been on there since.
Like 1982.
Yes. I put it on there when I first started.
Oh, well.
They don't work. They don't provide us accurate information. Not the scan cards, like the sensors that are in the doors when you come in and out.
The scanners, do people tend to use them?
Yeah, we don't have 100% compliance and we never will, but yeah, we every now and then we remind people, but we see the reports on the back end and it usually lines up pretty well with how many people we think go around.
Because commission used to be on there, and when I come in and
Oh.
it's not, I
Okay.
don't see
I
it.
was this commission, but I didn't know what that was for.
Yeah, when you come in for a commission meeting.
It's probably, I don't think I'm putting it in the system. That's why it's probably my fault. I'll fix it. I didn't even think to. Okay.
New business. Upcoming activities.
I already talked about the evening activities. So again, we are the 40th anniversary. So I found out something interesting. It's actually in your newsletter if you read it. But the senior center, and I don't remember this, but the senior center was supposed to be the grand opening, like the celebration, was supposed to be September 29th, 1985. But what happened on September 27th, 1985 was Hurricane Gloria. So I went over to the library and I was like looking for old articles in the town crier or whatever to put up. So I'm gonna create a display up in the lobby this week and maybe or next week to put it up. And I was found out that actually postponed the grand opening until the beginning of November, which I thought was interesting. So that's just one little fact. We're gonna have a bunch of things to celebrate the 40th anniversary. I mentioned the 1985 throwback trivia, 80s trivia. We're doing an Oktoberfest in September with German band, food, everything else completely and totally sponsored. It's about a $1,400 to $1,600 event, and the cost is covered by Avery Heights in Hartford. So they're sponsoring us, which is cool. So it allows us to do a little bit of a bigger event. And then we're gonna have an 80s throwback luncheon early October, but I need to confirm the date. So, and we're gonna have, like I said, a display put up in the front with Terry Snyder is like our historian here. She has tons of pictures going back and going back. So we're gonna have pictures, newspaper articles from the time, 80s, like things like what was popular on TV and music then and everything else. It'll show our upcoming events for our celebration, and it'll give people an opportunity to write like their favorite memory of the center and display it on the wall. So as soon as I have like 2 free hours, I'll get it up, but I have a feeling it's going to be over the weekend. So that's what we have coming up for our 40th. And I believe that Representative Gary Turco is going to make an attempt to stop by the Oktoberfest to give a statewide proclamation for our anniversary.
So that was evening activities and 40th.
Yeah. And then upcoming things, so the biggest thing we're working on right now is the expo. It'll be on Thursday, November 6th from 10 to 12. We have put out the invitations to the vendors. And we have probably about 20 signed up so far. We cap it at 55 and it will sell out. So we'll get the information out to the members soon. The annual safety picnic is next Friday, but it is full and sold out. I think we have 112 people coming. Barbara's putting together a new initiative to help older adults and disabled adults learn how to use public transit, if you don't know, and to be comfortable with public transit outside of our dial-a-ride system and everything else. So she's going to do a try it day on October 15th, in which we're going to actually ride public transit to an activity to be determined, most likely like a lunch or maybe like the Wadsworth Athenaeum or something in Hartford. And there'll be materials and educational materials to go along with that to help folks get comfortable with public transit.
Yeah, I talked to her about that. She talked to them. I suggested going to Sally's.
Okay.
Because that's around the loop when you get off the fast track thing.
Okay. That's a good idea. Sure. That's a good place to eat. We're going to have programs on Medicare information, better posture. We're going to, we're running a sign language class, to learn beginners learn ASL. We have a volunteer who's going to teach people how to play Mahjong, which is like a card tile game, that people enjoy. We're going to continue with our chair yoga rollout, a bunch of arts and crafts programs. We are bringing back our WISE program on September 23rd. There'll be 3 dates in which we meet with CCSU students either here or on campus to have a multi-generational discussion of various topics. We're going to have instructional discussions on understanding health insurance. Meditation is always a popular one. And we are going to, again, do our Oktoberfest celebration. So yeah, coming up. And we will hold, as we typically do, we will hold our Veterans Day ceremony on Veterans Day, which we organize with the various organizations. What's interesting about our expo this year is the expo is like 2 hours of just not chaos because it's great, but 2 hours of just being full, like everybody going in and coming through our expo and seeing all the vendors. It goes from 10 to noon.
Wild.
It's wild. Wild is a good word for it. It is wild. It's informative and it's a lot of fun, but it's wild. But at 1 o'clock, all the vendors, or 12 o'clock, all the vendors are going to go home. And at 1 o'clock, the library volunteers are going to come in and set up for the book sale, which is going to take place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. So we're busy. We're going to be busy that week. And then after that, the following Tuesday is Veterans Day. So we'll have our ceremony. So yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Building update.
So I think I talked a lot about what's going on around the building. I had mentioned this room will become the exercise gym. Got the stuff going on with the wiring, both for our technology and for the security system. I don't think I have much of anything else. You might have noticed they repaved the entrance outside the kitchen door to make it a little smoother so we can get in and out without that little lip. I think that's about it.
Supposed to have the building clean or something.
They clean it twice a year. I mean, they cleaned every day.
You would, I'll watch them.
Probably. So we contract with the cleaning service and they're here from like 2:30 to like 4:30 or 5-ish every day. And they do daily cleaning, but then throughout the year, they have scheduled deep cleanings that typically happen on the weekends or nights. And that includes the power washing. So that's probably just coming up. It's organized by the facilities department. I know. Well, it sounds, I don't know. Sounds fun. So I think that's about it for the building.
Giving garden project.
Yep, that is actually kind of building related, but Karen is familiar with this. This has been going on for 2 years ago, and we applied for the ARPA funding to make those raised garden beds. So it's time to do it. We weren't able to create those raised garden beds in the spring because the weather never ever cooperated for the whole spring. It rained 15 weekends in a row. And I know that because I was on my daughter's rainy soccer field for 15 weekends in a row. But it unfortunately made it impossible to, if you look out the window and there's the flat beds in the back, we're replacing those with raised beds similar to the 2 long ones. And you need certain weather for that. Yeah, you need certain weather. It can't be, the ground can't be frozen. So we couldn't go too late in the fall, but then it was so rainy that it was mud and we couldn't get in there and actually do the work we need to do. So what we're hoping to do, and we have the funding for this. It's about a $12,000 project, all funded by ARPA. What we're hoping to do, I'm just looking at my calendar. We want to wait until the garden is for the most part done for the year and everything's been harvested. But we can't, again, the ground can't be frozen, so we can't wait too long. Ideally, we do this in November. We have like a 2-week window where we can do this. And I'm thinking like November 8th or 9th. It's a weekend. We're going to get community volunteers to help us. The staff will be doing this. Like we've already talked to the town manager's office about insurance and liability and stuff, and we're covered. We might see if we can get Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts actually initially helped us build the initial Giving Garden 10 years ago. So, if we can get them back involved, that would be cool. So the problem is the scheduling is so like tenuous because you need to have the gardens be done, and we are still harvesting tomatoes in November last year, and the weather needs to cooperate. So if it doesn't happen that weekend, that's the weekend we're going to plan it for. Then we might be able to do it the weekend of the 22nd. I'm actually not available at all the weekend of the 15th. And then if not, then we might have to go to spring. Because then the following weekend's Thanksgiving. And so we're hoping for salad weather.
So the gardens they're emptying off all the pallets.
Okay.
So that shouldn't be a problem. But it's a good thing they're gonna be replaced because they're rotting. We
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to use them next year.
Yeah. So it's time anyway. And plus they're more accessible. They are more ADA compliant.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And they're easier on your back and knees, even if you don't need necessarily we have to coordinate with a couple departments, even though we're doing this with the senior center staff and the volunteers. We need to coordinate with parks because of the irrigation. We want to make sure that it works with our new layout. And we'll have our facilities director take a look and make sure he's, seeing not that there's something we're not seeing or something that would be a problem. So
Did they look at the irrigation yet?
I'm not sure. I have to check.
Whatever happened to, remember, I forgot the name of the woman that we got money for to buy a shed and stuff for, we're going to a presentation.
I'm not sure.
Remember, we got money to buy a shed?
We got money to buy a shed for the art league, which is there. It's out on the side of the building.
Yeah, but that was a donation made by
Patty Foley's estate.
Patty Foley's estate. We were gonna do a presentation about that.
Oh, okay. You're on it. I'm sorry. I'm still looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. We just got the shed just came in. We had to have it, the art league had it custom built. So, it's there. It just got installed. So, we can certainly do it. It's outside. If you go down past the multi-purpose room, that side door that's closest to the housing, take a right. It's on the actual concrete pad there. It's on the side of the building.
Purchase requests.
Anything?
Next meeting date and agenda.
The October 1st is would be our next meeting. I'm sorry, I'm going back to look, except that it's after sunset is the holiday, correct? So we would need to, it's Yom Kippur on Tuesday the 2nd, but it starts on sunset on Wednesday the 1st. So I think we're going to need to reschedule that meeting.
For the 8th.
October 1st, we
Yeah.
can do the 8th, sure. Karen, I believe you're gonna be away, right?
Oh, I'm not.
I'll be, I'll, I'm going to the 7th.
I mean, it's up to you, whatever, if you want to meet on a different date of the same week, or, well, it won't really work because Thursday is the holiday as well, but if you want to meet any night the following week, we can make it work, whatever you'd like.
I might not be available because I'm having surgery.
Okay.
So I don't know that I would even be able to get to the computer
Okay,
to even enter on Zoom. So,
I'm sorry.
no,
We'll
I'm just having my other knee done.
We'll be sitting into your house.
would something like Monday, no, you'll be away on October 6th.
You come back in the 7th.
I come that late at night on the 6th, but I,
On the 6th. The 7th would be okay. We leave the 8th.
As long as you're okay with coming to a meeting right before you leave and right when you get home.
oh,
Do we want to try for tentatively Tuesday, October 7th?
I could do
Whoever can make it? Okay. I mean, we only need 4 to have a quorum. It's nice to have everybody, but if you can't make it, you can't make it. So we'll,
What's your surgery?
September 30th.
Good luck.
okay, we'll go tentatively for that and take a look at your calendars. And if it doesn't work for you, we'll just pick something else.
I can do it from work.
Nice.
I've done meetings from other countries.
Yes, you have.
I was up at 1 a.m.
Oh my God, that's dedication.
Yeah.
The time to.
Oh, we need it because we had no quorum. if
Oh, that's what I remember you
attended.
telling me about
Yeah.
that.
And you people didn't see me when I did that meeting. Because I didn't realize I was like, I ran into the pool, my fences, the meeting, and I had my shirt off and I'm sitting in the chair and I have the thing in front of me and then the cat's on the top of it hit my head.
That was cute. We appreciate your participation.
Zoom has changed our lives.
Yes, it has.
Yes.
Okay, so right now, it's October 7th, and if anyone has a problem, we know you won't be here.
I'll send you an email, a reminder, and you could take a look at your convenience. We have a while. Since it's a special meeting, we don't have to post it until the day before, but we'll do it sooner if you prefer.
Public participation? Anything?
Oh, I understand we had delivery here, correct?
Delivery.
Butterfly.
Oh, yeah, we had a butterfly.
I didn't see, I kept on looking at that thing, I didn't see.
I know, so
Else I see pictures.
the butterfly lives in our garden now, so we have been raising monarch caterpillars this summer based on a whim because I found some monarch eggs on milkweed out in the back of the center, and my kids have been doing it for like 10 years. So we brought in the milkweed plants. Monarchs are endangered. Only 2 to 10% of them survive in the wild. So when we found the little tiny eggs on the milkweed plants, I brought them in and we did the display over in the thing, and we're like the staff was laughing, like, we know, the butterflies, there's like the very hungry caterpillar. The caterpillar got huge and it went up and made a chrysalis at the top of the enclosure. There's 2 of them. And we're like, this thing's gonna emerge over the weekend. We know it, like when nobody's here. It didn't quite happen, but Friday afternoon, right before I left, that butterfly came out. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. There's nobody here. So I'm like, okay. So you can't release them immediately because their wings have to dry. It takes a couple hours, but when they start flapping their wings, you let them go and then they feed on. So the next morning, first thing in the morning on the way to a soccer tournament, I dragged my kid and her friend out and I said, guys, we're going to release the butterfly in the garden. So we brought the enclosure outside and we released it and it sat there for 9 minutes. It would not leave the enclosure. I'm like, okay. So I recorded it. And I'm like, oh, this would be really cool to put on Facebook, like a Facebook Live or whatever. But it was 9 minutes of the thing sitting there. So I took some screenshots when it finally took off. I took some screenshots of it. And if you actually look out in the hallway at the T, like at the intersection next to the health office, you'll see the pictures. We asked people for name suggestions and we got over 100. So this butterfly happened to be a female. You could tell by the markings on its torso. And so we picked it at random and it was Princess Caroline is the name of the butterfly. So check out our Facebook page because it has pictures of Princess Caroline's release. And then I printed the pictures and put them out there. There's one more chrysalis that we're hoping will emerge during the workday, but we'll see.
No one did that.
Sorry, Ed. Maybe the next one.
I didn't have what she done.
So public participation,
That-
anything? No. Lillian, anything? Before
Nope,
we-
I'm good. I said what I got it, had to.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night. Thank you.
So moved.
All right, we
right.
are